Hey everybody, it's me Samantha here today, and we're going to be talking about GLOWISH and their new multi-dew skin tint and the soft radiance bronzer. And I'm just going to get into it. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Samantha. I'm a mom of 3. I work full-time and I'm a makeup enthusiast. I don't take myself too seriously, and neither should you. And yeah, today we are going to talk about this. This is just the empty box. I have the product here, which made me a little bit scared. I got this shade Tan 08, and I was like, is it really that great? But no, it's a frosted tube. It has a pump on it with like an iridescent cap. I don't know if you can see it. It's really like an fake opal. And I'm sure that you guys have seen a ton of reviews already. If you're watching mine, you've probably seen some first impressions out there. And I haven't watched any, but I've seen a ton of thumbnails, so I know they're out there. Again, I got mine in the shade Tan 8. I've had this since it released. I've just been playing with it, and I also didn't want to film because I had some poison ivy on my face, but it is now pretty much cleared up. Yeah, I can't see any of it anymore. So this is a dewy glow, healthy looking skin, fragrance free skin tint. It claims to be naturally derived, vegan friendly, and not animal tested, which is nice. And then the bronzer I got in Tan Light. Now I'm going to swatch that for you, but I'm not going to put it on my face. I might have a clip of me testing it the first time I put it on that I could probably put right here if I remember. Yeah, and this is supposed to be similar. It's supposed to be vegan friendly, naturally clean derived ingredients, which is all the trend, not animal tested, blah blah blah. So I wanted to do some comparisons to begin with because I thought that the shade was pretty spot on with my current skin color situation because I do tan significantly in the summer. And this is again Tan 8, and it has a nice balmy texture. And I think when look, I even got darker since I got this. I felt like it was spot on when I first got it, but it still works just a little. Has a beautiful glow to it. It's really nice, but I do feel like the shine is quite similar to my Supergoop Glow Screen, although this is lighter and it has a slight cast. You can't really, I don't think it's really detectable, but it does have kind of a cast to it. And I'm gonna blend some of that out on my hand next to it so you can see kind of the sheen. Because I felt like when I put it on, it has a very similar sheen to it. And this gives like virtually no tint to it. I feel like any tint that's in the Supergoop is really for the purpose of it to provide less cast. And this is the Supergoop, and this is the multi-dew from Huda. So less pigment obviously, but very similar shine, which I thought was quite interesting. Now I haven't swatched it yet. This will be the first time, but I was thinking about my collection and thinking of products that I might have tried that's similar. And I did try these Milani, what do they call them, glow hydrating skin tints quite a bit ago. Now I could not get my hands on the tan one, which I really wish that I had, but I'm not going to go out and purchase it just for this video because I mixed these two to kind of get a really decent shade for me. But I wanted to kind of show you and see for myself as well how they compare. So I'm going to go in with the one that's medium to dark, and I'm going to actually put the light to medium just a smidge over it because that's kind of what I do anyway. I don't know if it's been updated in Ulta, but when I first purchased this from Milani, they did not have the tan one, like just straight shade tan on their list, so I didn't buy it. I bought the medium to dark, and that was too dark. No, I'm sorry, I bought light to medium. And then it was too light, and then I bought medium to dark to just mix it. So this is the Milani. It's a lot on there because, again, I have to mix it. And then this is the Huda one. I'm going to blend these out, and we'll see. Let me just, that's the Huda one. This one's definitely more liquidy. I'm trying not to mix them together with the Huda, but also mix them together. Very similar texture, I think. Similar finish. And I would say probably even similar wear. So I'm going to put this on, and as I put it on, I'm going to tell you kind of what I've experienced as I've worn it. And yeah, and then after we'll talk about the bronzer. I want you to stick around for that because I have some interesting thoughts on that as well. And we're going to get into just the applying of this. I've been applying this with my hand primarily because I've had poison ivy on my face, and I didn't want my tools to get poison ivy contamination, kind of whatever, on it. It did not make my poison ivy spread. I was kind of nervous the first few days of the poison ivy. I didn't put anything on, and then I found that it wasn't, you know, being gross and opening or breaking or anything, so I could put stuff over it. I was wearing sunscreen and it didn't have a problem, so then why not put a little skin tint and test this bad boy out. So again, everything always looks a little crazy on my forehead, but it blends out quite easily. I feel like it does blend out quite similar to my Supergoop, and that was my first real impression of it. Was this is a lot like my Supergoop. It does have a little pigment to it, which is kind of nice. You can tell it's like even out my skin tone a little, because right here tends to be lighter than the rest of my face, and then my forehead's very dark, but I feel like it does look a little bit more evened out with the skin tint on, which is nice. Now, if you were an oily girl and you like to set your face because you're worried about it being broken down later in the day, I can tell you that it's not going to break down, but you will get oily. I do feel like it does a good job kind of being almost like, it reminds me almost like a sunscreen in a way. And that in the way that it behaves and kind of lays on the skin like a sunscreen. I think it claims, maybe not on the bottle, but I think I've seen like Huda on Instagram like going in the pool with it, and I'm not sure if it claims to be waterproof offhand, but when I do rub it on my hand and I run it under water, the water does bead up over top the product like if it was waterproof in a sense. But the color, she might not advertise it like that, because let me tell you, it like got a weird gray color after being in the water, which was a little unusual. So I do find that when I wear it all day long to work or anything like that, after maybe hour 5, I get a little greasy looking, but I am able to blot it, and it doesn't seem to be breaking down, which is quite nice. And I don't feel like the color changes either on my face from just being a little bit oily. Alright, so I just used my Milani concealer from my Shop My Stash. This is in the shade 150 in case you were curious. And I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder in medium just to set my under eyes. You can set your whole face with this skin tint. I've done it, but I particularly don't enjoy really powdering my face. I kind of just do my T-zone, and it will break through, but that doesn't really bother me. But if you do not like to be oily whatsoever, or dewy, glossy, whatever you want to call it, you're going to want to powder this, because right now it looks very natural and pretty, but it can get a little bit oily, especially right now with the hotter weather. So bronzer. Now we're going to talk about the bronzer. So I got mine in light tan. I'm going to keep it. There's more months out of the year that I am more medium to light tan in skin tone, that this is going to actually work for me. Although I do wish for right now, for this video purpose, I did have the dark tan. It's a shame that she didn't just have a shade tan. But here we are. Now, looking at it, I mean, I think some people were comparing it to something from like Almay or something like that, a bronzer. I haven't tried that, so I can't say for sure, but it looked very similar to me to the to like ColourPop's highlighters, Super Shock highlighters. And I feel like they had some kind of bronzing colors before, but I could be wrong. Those could have been like body highlights, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. But when I touch this, I feel like it has kind of a powder texture. It's not as wet as the Super Shock, but the texture is not that off. Now, I'm just going to show you on my finger. I'll apply it to my skin, but that comes off very, very neutral. And I will tell you right now, the way it looks in the monitor is how it looks like in real life. It looks very gray and neutral. I know some people were worried, even myself, that they were going to be pulling a little too red, but I felt like this one does not pull red enough. If you love a neutral bronzer, then this might be for you, but it barely shows up. You can see it on my skin only because the color is distinctly different from my actual skin tone. The undertone of it is different. If it had been a more red tone, it will probably be invisible to my skin. I tried this bronzer on. I think I have a clip that I'll probably put here of me trying it on, and it just didn't really show up on me. And in fact, you know, if I didn't take it all the way up, I think in the clip you can kind of see there's like a little space here, like a finger space between the bronzer and my hairline. You can see my forehead is distinctly redder than this bronzer, so the color was not great. I did like the smoothness that it applied in, and it definitely showed up. I just didn't like the color that it came in through. So I'm gonna go in with my ABH bronzer in Cappuccino. This is in my Shop My Stash. So I quickly just finished my makeup up, and I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching my video. If you found anything that I said interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I'd love to hear from you in the comments what you thought. Have you been using this? Did you have issues with the shades? I feel like it could be a little bit better. The skin tint, I mean, I understand that you could be a little bit more flexible with that, but I feel like the bronzers 100% needed more ranges. They're pretty thin, lightweight, but they're pigmented enough that you can really see the color if the undertones are not just right. And yeah, it's a little gray, so that was very disappointing. If you had a similar situation, let me know again in the comments below. And until next time, love you guys. Bye.